In this video, I want to talk about wellness in motherhood. And this is for the mothers who feel like they're completely at the mercy of motherhood. Like everything just feels really hard and you're just at the constant demand of your baby or toddler or plural. And, everything just feels hard, from having a shower in your day to knowing what to eat. You don't really feel very good and you can't even go on a walk and things like that. Everything just feels way too hard. Motherhood has just got you completely overwhelmed. I've actually gone through quite a big personal transformation, and that just hasn't happened willy-nilly through the years of motherhood. I actually had to make a conscious decision to let motherhood do that to me. I had to let motherhood change me for the better. I was just like everyone else. I just started out by winging it every single day. I didn't really know what I was doing. And I feel like we're passed down that stuff from our mothers and our grandmothers and just everybody in society. It's like, there's no parenting guidebook and nobody knows what they're doing. And every single day you're just figuring it out as you go. And I feel like that's so normalized and that's what everybody says and that's what everyone's doing. But then everybody starts to become so miserable when it's been, months or weeks or years into motherhood. And all of a sudden you lose sight of yourself and you forget where you even were before you started. And at the end of the day, you were a young woman before you became a mum. You had, things that you enjoyed doing. You had likes and dislikes. And all of a sudden we're giving so much to our baby or toddler. And everyone just keeps saying, oh, well, yeah, that's what we did. We just figured it out as we went. And it's kind of like, it's not fair and it's not right. And honestly, it is not true. I believe that when you support yourself, there's actually so many really good resources out there. There's so many good things that you can be doing to help you in these years of motherhood. And you can actually grow alongside your children. And you don't have to just get old and get boring. It doesn't have to be like that. I mean, you don't also have to jet set around the world. But I just mean that you can become somebody that is just such a better person than who you were even before you became a mum, rather than motherhood bogging you down and like making you feel like you're just a shell of yourself. Now I feel like when I look back at my 20-year-old self, or myself in my 20s, I lacked so much confidence. I felt lost every day. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't very assertive with people. I'd always try to be more assertive and it just was never really working. But now, because of motherhood, because now I've had to learn that I need to communicate better with my kids, I need to communicate better with my partner, I need to have structures in place to help anchor me down every single day and make me not feel like the world's just spinning around me and motherhood's just going nuts around me. Now I actually feel so much more confident. I feel more confident as a person. Even when I go to work, in the hospital and whatever else, I can actually just introduce myself to people. I feel more confident and I feel like I know what I'm doing, even though I sort of like did know what I was doing before in my job. But now it's this feeling of like, I've got this. Like, I know what I'm doing in my life. I've got this. I know how to be a structured, grounded person. And that's because of motherhood. That's truly what I believe. And when you do have structures in your day, and I'm not talking about for your kids, I'm not talking about routines for bedtime, I'm not talking about parenting stuff, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about structures for yourself. Like on Mondays and Tuesdays, I do this, or, Tuesdays and Friday nights, I like sweep and mop the floors downstairs, or these days I hang out the laundry and these days I put the laundry on, or whatever. On this day I'm going to print off some activities for my kids to do when we're all home together. When you've got structure like that to help you run the household and help you be a mum, it's like when you've got those things, you feel so much more grounded. And like, instead of motherhood overwhelming you and being on top of you, you actually get to be on top of motherhood. You are actually the one that gets your autonomy back, and you get to feel like, I have got this, instead of feeling like, oh my God, I'm just, at the constant demand of my baby, I'm at the constant demand of my toddler, I'm going to be planning meals for the next 30 years, and like all of that feeling so overwhelming. Instead of that, now the tables get to be turned and you get to be the one that's like, no, I have my structure in place. I plan my meals for the week. I know what I'm doing. And now I actually get to be present. And I don't think so hopelessly of like, with that real feeling of hopelessness that like, oh crap, this is just my life now. This is just what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. Like, I'm just going to be at the beck and call of my children and I've lost myself and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, now I actually don't even think that far ahead. It's just, this is what I'm doing today. This is what I'm doing this week or this month. And I get to feel good and I get to feel present. I mean, at the end of the day, that is what all of us mums want, right? Like we all just want to be present with our families. We want our kids to feel that we are just there with them and we're not, constantly checking our phone or scrolling because we feel overwhelmed and we feel lost and we want that sense of escape. Instead, now it's like, actually, I don't even need to look at my phone. I feel really good because I know what's for dinner. I know that I've had a shower today and I feel good and I put on some fresh clothing and like, I just feel good and I've got this. And now I can play, memory cards with my kids or whatever. And I don't have to feel so stressed about everything. And all of a sudden you become the mum that you want to be, that like calm, happy mum who's got this, who doesn't feel like her kids have ruined her life or like taken over her life. Of course, we all love our children, but I feel like those thoughts come to us all the time when we just feel like we're winging it. And it's like, oh, my kids are just running my life. Like, oh, nothing like kids to stop us from living and all this stuff. Instead, we can actually do the opposite, where we can feel like our kids have given us so much in our lives. In that way, like we get to, as I said, we get to grow in motherhood alongside our kids. There's actually this really good quote that says the best thing about not having kids is that you get to go through life believing that you're just fine the way you are. And I feel like with motherhood, it literally makes you feel like, you see that shadow side of yourself where you do get the mum rage and you do get so much stress and you're like, I've never yelled in my life before. And now all of a sudden with my little beautiful children, I'm like yelling at them, like, what is wrong with me? And I think that's because, finally we see these sides of ourselves, these little things where it's like, okay, this is what I'm like when I'm like really, really overwhelmed. And like, what am I going to do about this? How am I going to grow out of this? Like, how am I going to come out to the other side? And I feel like for me, it did take me a while. It took me a lot of not soul searching, but I really did have to, get those resources and really utilize, some really good mum podcasts and books and things like that did make me feel like there was a parenting manual. Like, honestly, I think that's just a load of garbage. I actually think there's so many good parenting books out there. You don't have to feel like there's no parenting manual. Like, honestly, there is, when you actually step into that feeling of like, this is my era, this is my season, and I'm going to learn about it and like actually help myself out, then you actually get to feel like there is help out there. There is a better way. It's not just this thing that like challenges us and then we like lose sight of ourselves and we don't even know what we're doing anymore. It's like now we actually get to be in this season and this era of our lives where we actually get to step into a more confident, amazing version of ourselves that doesn't feel so lost anymore. I think what can happen with mums is that when we first have our baby, it's literally, it takes over our whole world. And I feel like there's nothing that can stop that. Like, that's just biology. It's just what having babies is like. It's like you're up all night, you're trying to feed, you're trying to figure out sleep, you're trying to figure out so many things when your baby comes along, and it literally does turn your world upside down in a good way and a bad way. Like, I feel like everything just gets stripped back to basics, everything from personal hygiene through to like what you're going to be eating every day, and even not even being able to just exercise, I just mean like going on a walk. You might have a baby that's crying a lot, or you don't know all these things like wake windows and stuff, and so you kind of feel like you're just trapped in this thing, and everything just goes in the too hard basket. Like, eating well goes in the too hard basket, exercise goes in the too hard basket, and this is not about being healthy. Even things like seeing friends goes in the too hard basket. Like, cleaning our own clothes goes in the too hard basket. Like, everything goes in the too hard basket. It can snowball, and if you're not careful, then over the months and like years, you can turn into somebody that is totally different to who you were before you became a mum. And it's just made you feel like, oh great, is this just my life forever? And honestly, it feels like shit. Like, it feels so shit, because as I said, you were a young woman before and you used to just do your washing and like have a nice time with your friends and blah blah blah, do all these things, and then all of a sudden now it's like, oh crap, like I don't get to do any of that. And like, I wasn't someone that necessarily craved that. I feel like when I had my baby, I did find a part of myself and I loved it so much, but I didn't even know that I was unhappy. And like, I didn't even need to have this big new social life once I had a baby. That's not even what made me feel better. What really made me feel better was like prioritizing my wellness and having these tools so that I actually felt good while I was a mum. I didn't have to feel like the only way to do this was to sacrifice my own needs and to sacrifice parts of myself. Now I got to feel like, actually, if I do have structure in my week, and if I do communicate better, and if I do these things like, read parenting books, or even just get outside with my kids every day and do something grounding, then I could feel like, actually, I get to enjoy this time of my life. And yeah, I don't have to go back to who I was before. I don't have to go back and like party again and do all this stuff to feel like myself. But it's more just like, now I actually get to grow into a whole new version of myself that I really like. That's like totally different to who I was before, but still has parts of my old self that, now I actually get to love even more. So yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about this today, because I feel like I've learned so much stuff over these past years, and I really just wanted to share that. And, it doesn't have to be about this hectic discipline. Like, you don't have to go and, hand your baby over for a couple of nights and go overseas with your, baby daddy. Like, you don't have to do all this dramatic stuff, like go back to the gym and get into a new fitness routine. You don't have to do all this crazy stuff. It can just be some simple little things to give you more structure and more kind of like leadership in motherhood that can make you feel like, yeah, I've got this. Like, I know what I'm doing and I've got this. It's not overwhelming me. I actually know what I'm doing as a mum. And like, yeah, I'm not perfect, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect at all, but it's just like, I know that for me, when we are really sick, or, when things are going a bit crazy, like with, school routines, or I don't know, heaps of birthday parties and stuff like that, and maybe I'm having to work a lot at the moment or whatever, I know that things can go a little bit crazy and can go a bit pear-shaped, and I can feel that feeling again of overwhelm. But because I have my tools, I know where to come back to. I know how to pick myself up again and feel good again. And I no longer feel that feeling of like, oh crap, what do I even do? Now it's like, oh, okay, I'm feeling those feelings of hopelessness in motherhood again. I'm feeling like it's all too much, blah, blah, blah. I actually know now how to ground myself again and how to center myself again. And it's not even about, part of it, of course, is like about your kids and parenting and stuff. But I almost feel like if you just know how to get through this season, this era, this long, years or whatever, this new way of life as a mum, and you've got your way of doing that, and you know how to support yourself through it, and like find that support and communicate and everything effectively, then, you can actually enjoy it. And it doesn't have to be something that you're just trying to get through and you're just trying to hustle to the other side of. And, I feel like everybody in this, these days is just so into hustle culture, because everything's just at our fingertips now. We can get things quickly, and we just feel like we want to get stuff over and done with, and we just want to like rush through the days and stuff, and like we want to feel good again and comfortable again. But at the end of the day, that's when you burn yourself out and you forget what it's all about, really. Whereas when you've got all those structures and everything, and those tools and strategies, you can feel like, okay, I actually remember what this is all about. This is about living in the present. This is about being here today, and everything's sorted, and I don't have to worry. I don't have to stress. Like, I've got this. And yeah, it can be a really, really good feeling. So anyway, I really hope that this video helped you if you're a mum out there and you do just feel that feeling that I know all too well. I actually have a freebie in the description below if you want to download it, all to help you get back on your feet. And it gives you some really practical tools to actually help you do that. Because I know so much out there, you might be thinking that I'm about to tell you to meditate every day or something, but it's like, no, there's actually some really cool like tools that you can do every day that can make you feel good again and can make you feel like you've got this, and motherhood won't be bogging you down so much anymore. Check out the description below for that, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.